Hello, my dear viewer, and welcome back to OctoberCelebrations, where we celebrate the best month of the year by going over little pieces of Roblox's history. For today, I think it's time to go back to old Roblox horror games. Now, back then, Roblox was hella simple. It is something you have probably heard 1,000 times, so I'll cut to the chase. People tried to make horror games with Roblox's limited engine, created many horror games that use tropes from that time period and exercised some creative ideas out of Roblox. So I think we should get to the games themselves, yeah? Now, before we start, shout out to Toasted Cherry for making this Roblox horror games iceberg video, which helped me find these games. I wouldn't have been able to find these games without them. Now on to the games, yeah? First up, Escape the Haunted Hotel by Chris Super. Made in 2010, you have to, escape the haunted hotel. It starts with you spawning in and immediately finding a man named Fred with a big ass scar on his chest. He warns you of banshees, ooh, to which you can respond by asking what he was drinking. Okay, nice to know our character is a dick. First, you have to push a fridge on the floor, which may take a while to realize. Immediately solidifying this game is more challenging than any Roblox horror game. You then find some more NPCs who assure you nothing is wrong, except maybe some stuff in the bedroom. Insert sex joke here. You go into the bedroom, see nothing wrong, except for a lighting change. I wonder why. And go outside the room to see blood, and murder, and a banshee, I think. After going through a not-so-hidden can't collide block, you teleport again to capitalism. Then, you go through another room to find another teleporter, which takes you to another room with another teleporter, then another room with another teleporter, and then you fall from a bed, and then you win? Yay! Overall, this was a pretty average, and it's just a cute little game made in 2010. Nothing too noteworthy. Our second game is Sanatorium by Daypale. Basically, it was a Roblox version of a mod for Slender 8 pages called Slenderman Shadow. So after booting up the game, you'll see a title screen with a bunch of options, stuff like upgrades, levels, a character creator of sorts, and of course, the option to play, so let's boot it up. There's only one way to play, that being multiplayer. However, because no one wants my dog ass, I'll just have to play alone. The game basically just plays like Slender, with a spooky man hunting you down. However, there were a few things I noticed. When you collected a page, it would disappear for a few moments and reappear. I assumed this was for when more than one player was in the game. However, because I was alone, the feature left me finding pages I already took, making it hard to identify where I needed to go. Whenever you collected a page, the more ambient noises would start playing, which is supposed to enhance the atmosphere and add a sense of urgency. However, eventually it just became white noise, as you were more focused on getting pages, rather than avoiding Slenderman. Speaking of which, the presentation of Slenderman was pretty weak. He just kinda decided to exist sometimes. Sometimes when you looked him dead in the eyes, well, no eyes, but still, he just wouldn't create any static. Only when the noise telling you he was there played when the static would start. He also didn't appear more often with each page you collected. This might not be true, but from what I remember about Slenderman, when you collected 7 out of 8 pages, he would basically always be on your ass. Here it feels like he's a fast food employee doing the bare minimum, so when you leave you can go back to jerking off or something. The way you win is also a little vague, as when you collect all 8 pages, the game tells you to go back to the starting position. However, it doesn't tell you anything else, and there is no marker showing you where to go. It's just wandering for a little, and then you win. Yay! You're also painfully slow. It feels like you are a snail in this game. There is a sprint button, but it's a slash button, the one to chat, so I didn't notice it at first. Also, it has an annoying cooldown, so you might as well not have the option. I won't really have any much more to say about this. So, let's list some positives. Looking at the badges and shops, it appears the game goes much deeper than that. However, I don't want to play this game for 5 hours trying to do everything, so I'll just wrap this up. It was actually kind of fun, but it didn't really bring much to the table for me. However, this is a game from 2012, so I should stop ragging on a game that was good for its time and move on. Overall, it was pretty cool. You should check it out. For our final game, we have Fear by One Dev 2, which was a game made in early 2010, so you already know it's gonna be juicy. This game has you exploring some abandoned apartments for ghosts, and what do you know, this place is packed with them. The game basically just tries using the same tactic, letting a ghost move or do other wacky shit like explode into blood, flee from a crime scene, or just do gymnastics at the end of a hallway when you are in the middle of it. That, coupled with the same screen being used every time, creates this stupidly predictable, goofy ass game that still somehow manages to be scarier than 90% of modern Roblox horror games. It ends with the building exploding for literally no reason, and you kinda just end up in a hospital 6 months later and leaving to go into the car in the VIP room with the ghost waving at you one last time. However, I must say, this game definitely stacks up to the others like it from the time it was made. I mean, it still aged poorly, but at least in the time period it was made, it would have been seen as good. I think we discussed all there is to discuss, so let's conclude this. Basically, older Roblox horror games mostly just use stock jump scare sound effects whenever they wanted to try to scare you, and overall, which is goofy and wacky as hell. However, I can say that they still have their charm, which is not something that can be said for a lot of modern horror games that just do the same thing over and over. In old Roblox, people really exercised their imagination and tried unique ideas, while now it feels like every game is the same. Well, that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed this video. Meet me next time on OctoberCelebrations.